You know that feeling when you know you're supposed to be doing something and you don't, and you should on yourself, which is a term that we're using nowadays. Don't should on yourself. And I should be eating better. I shouldn't have eaten that chocolate bar. I shouldn't have eaten that candy. I shouldn't have eaten that ice cream. I shouldn't have eaten that whole bag of chips. And we should on ourselves. Let's stop shoulding on ourselves. Let's stop putting the shame on ourselves when we do something that we don't want to do. We can learn from it. We can move forward, but we don't have to be damning ourselves. We don't have to be embarrassed. We don't have to be criticizing ourselves, because that just keeps the negative cycle that it's our fault and that we've done something wrong. It can all be a learning opportunity. This really has been something I have had to learn over many, many years of shoulding on myself, of feeling like I was the one to be blamed when I would go off my diet, when I would eat that chocolate bar, the whole chocolate bar over the course of a day or in one sitting, or I'd eat bowl after bowl after bowl of chips, or just the whole bag of chips or candy. I used to be so addicted to certain types of candies, especially in the 80s and 90s. Those candies and that chocolate and those chips, those things are so tempting to eat. And so we get embarrassed and ashamed, and we regret the fact that we overconsumed them, we ate too many of them, and we couldn't stop. It's not our frickin' fault. It's not our fault. Sugar is addictive. That's not our fault that sugar is addictive. It's literally chemically addictive. Then factories, companies pay to add coloring to them to make them pleasing to the eye. They're colorful. They add texture to them to make them crunchy, or it has this filling that just bursts in your mouth when you bite into it. All of these different things related to sugar and companies that create products that are mainly sugar, it's not our fault that those are addictive. So when we eat them, let's not put blame on ourselves for eating them. Let's remember this is not our fault that it's addictive and that our brain loves this food. What we can learn from this is when we observe ourselves, oh my goodness, there's a whole bag gone. Now I have an empty bag in front of me. What came over me to finish this whole bag in one sitting? That is when we have a learning opportunity. We have a responsibility to say, I don't want to put this candy in my body anymore. I used to love it. I used to eat it all the time, but I'm getting older. I don't have that luxury. I don't have decades and decades and decades of time for my body to recover from eating junk food. I have a very limited time the older I get, and I better take better care of myself. Similar to any activity that we do in our youth and our crazy youth that we have. I didn't have a very crazy youth because I was super religious, but many people have a crazy youth and they look back and they say, I did that when I was young. Now I'm mature, now I don't do that. Not with candy and sweets and sugars. Those things continue and we keep doing that thing. And in some ways we're still being reckless with our bodies. I am speaking from firsthand experience. I was reckless with my body, still consuming a lot of candy and sweets that were not good for me, but I was addicted to them. I could not stop, and I didn't know it was an addiction, and I didn't know sugar was addictive. I thought it was me. I thought I was to blame. I put the blame on myself so many times, and the shame. Brené Brown talks about shame, and I'm so glad she's brought that into the forefront, into our society to talk about. Well, let's start talking about shame around food. Shame around eating stuff that made us obese, that made us gain weight. We don't have to feel the shame. The sugar is addictive. The companies make it even more addictive. They make the colors addictive to hold, the feeling of it, the texture, all of those things. So let's take the shame away. Let's not should on ourselves. We shouldn't have done that. We should do this. Let's give ourselves freedom, flexibility to say, hey, I'm learning this new thing. I'm learning that I was addicted to sugar. I'm learning that it is addictive and I need to back off from that. And how do I do that? A lot of my videos, I talk about habits, tricks that worked for me to quit sugar. Not completely, but almost completely. I don't have the sugar in my house the way I used to. I don't have it in my cupboards. I don't have it in my fridge and my freezer. I'm not putting it into my grocery cart. I'm not going to the corner store and buying that sugar like I used to. It's not a part of my life, but it was a journey to get to this stage, and I have habits in place. I am so much healthier because of it. It is really a big challenge. It's something that we can all work on, and it's a good thing because our bodies will thank us for it. Our bodies will thank us when we have less sugar in it. So let's take the blame away. Let's take the criticism away and just realize that this is a learning journey. We're learning as we go on this journey towards less sugar that is addictive, that makes us gain weight, that makes us keep the weight on, and stops us from having a much healthier life. Thanks for watching.